Hello and welcome to this presentation on FXCop. In this webcast, we will discuss about FXCop, a code analysis tool from Microsoft and its various functionalities. So what will you learn from this particular webcast? So we'll browse by the following topics. So the first is what is FXCop, the types of error messages and the rules that it has. Then why FXCop means like why FXCop is to be used. Then how to use FXCop. We'll provide a demo. Okay, and then we'll briefly look into the various other features of FXCop. So the first point is like what is FXCop, and then we'll move to the error messages and rules of FXCop. FXCop is a free code analysis tool which is basically freely downloadable from Microsoft that analyzes managed .NET assemblies. .NET assemblies contain metadata entries that describe the assembly and all its content types. FXCop works by reading the assembly metadata and checking it for compliance against built-in and custom rules that describe recommended coding standards and practices. FXCop contains over 200 built-in rules broadly classified into the following categories: design rules, globalization rules, interoperability rules, naming rules, performance rules, portability rules, security rules, and usage rules. The rules are the Microsoft guidelines for writing robust and easily maintainable code by using the .NET framework. Unlike traditional code analysis tools such as Lint for C, FXCop does not analyze source code. Instead, it analyzes the binary common intermediate language, which is also known as CIL, generated by .NET compilers and persisted in .NET assemblies, which are exe and DLL files. Analysis is enabled by the rich metadata that is a part of common intermediate language. By analyzing assemblies directly, FXCop avoids being tied to any particular .NET programming language. It will work without modification against C#, VB.NET, and potentially other .NET languages. So how it does is because after compilation, all C# code or VB.NET code ultimately do get converted into intermediate language, and that is what is analyzed by FXCop. So now we'll briefly look into the various types of error messages. The first is critical error. So critical errors point out issues related to high visibility and like defect which are highly breakable, which means your application will certainly break if in case you don't solve this particular type of message. Hence they should be solved immediately. The second type is error type, which though are less in impact and visibility than critical error, but still they are very, highly important issues in your code and hence should also be solved. They can be both breaking and non-breaking. The third one is critical warning, which basically focuses on maintainability issues like if in case a particular change comes, will your code be able to keep up with it, or is it like any change in input or the output mode will break your code. So it will basically go for your code working correctly or not, and then it will also check for your optimality of your operations. The fourth type is warning. Warning again basically looks around for issues with maintainability and extensibility and stability areas. So they will also like focus on areas like if in code changes happens, and then you need to basically is your code good enough to sustain that change. So these things should also be fixed. The fifth one is basically informational. They generally do not recommend any change to your code, but do provide you with some important messages which you can take back to in terms of your knowledge and all. So FXCop basically parses through your assemblies based on certain specific rules. So now those rules are already predefined. They are of basically 9 types, of which the following 7 are relevant. The first one is design rules. So these rules basically represent potential design flaws. Examples of them are like assemblies having strong names, avoiding out parameters, and usage of properties where appropriate. The second type of rule basically is related to globalization, which means if in case your application is supporting multiple culture and multiple language types, so it will raise issues related to incorrect usage of globalization and localization code that your build contains. Examples could be like setting local for date types, like date formats are different for US, different for India and UK. Then specifying cultural information for strings. It could be the culture invariant then, or either your installed culture of your system. The third is interoperability. They basically raise warnings related to interaction with COM clients. So like if in case your build is referencing some COM objects, so if is your code compatible with those COM objects, so it will probably check for, it will basically check for those interoperable issues with COM clients. The fourth one is naming. So they will basically look into incorrect casing, keyword collisions issues and all. Examples are like casing of compound words and identifiers. So they will raise naming errors. Okay, so they will basically follow Microsoft naming conventions and all. Okay. Then the fifth one is performance rules. So performance rules basically focus on areas of code where you can improve the performance. Okay, so they will provide you different suggestions of writing the same code, which will be much more optimal than your current the code that your current build has. The sixth one is security. This rule specifically looks into areas such that it can make your code more secure. Okay, so potential security flaws it puts up to your eyes. And then the seventh one is usage rules. So if in case you are using APIs and other external assemblies and all, so it will basically warn you or notify you of the correct usage, so that you make sure that you use optimal you make optimal use of the APIs that your build is using. To find more about rules and warnings, you can visit these specific links on MSDN. The next topic on our plate is why FXCop. So we just try and learn, why should we use FXCop, right? What is the importance of using FXCop? So basically, writing code presents many problems, and perhaps the most annoying are those that involve tendency for small errors to plague your code. So FXCop is designed to solve these problems. Also, FXCop is fully integrated into the software development cycle and is distributed as a fully featured application that has a graphical user interface for interactive work and a command line tool as well, so that you can integrate to your Microsoft Visual Studio.net as an external tool. So basically they will help you enforce certain standards of coding. Okay, you will know what are the best practices. So it also has those best practices rules already incorporated in it, and also like the potential flaws which you can prevent by following the recommendations that FXCop provides. Now we'll basically go for a demo.